I froze in the dim attic, my heart slamming against my ribs like a trapped animal, as I watched through the vent slats. Below, in our bedroom, the one we'd painted together last summer, laughing about the splatters on my nose, my husband, Mark, pressed his lips to her neck. Not just any her. Sarah. My best friend since college, the one who'd held my hand through miscarriages and whispered secrets over wine. Her fingers tangled in his hair, pulling him closer, and the soft moan that escaped her lips hit me like a gut punch. Betrayal wasn't a word. It was a blade twisting in my chest, hot and unrelenting. I bit down on my knuckle to stifle the sob rising in my throat, tasting blood. How had I not seen this? And now, here I was, crouched in dust and shadows, pretending to be miles away visiting my sister, when the real journey was into this hell of my own making. It started with the little things, those nagging whispers in the back of my mind. Mark's phone buzzing at odd hours. His quick thumb swiping away notifications before I could glance over. The faint scent of lavender on his collar. Sarah's perfume. I'd thought it was just from our girls' nights. But no, it was more. I'd felt the wrongness in the house like a draft seeping through cracks, chilling the air even on warm evenings. Our home, once a sanctuary of shared dreams, now felt tainted, walls echoing with unspoken lies. So I planned the ruse. A fake trip to my sister's in Chicago. I packed a bag, kissed him goodbye at the door. His arms around me feeling like chains. "Miss you already, Lena," he'd said, his eyes soft, lying eyes. I drove away, circled back after dark, and slipped in through the garage, up to the attic where old boxes hid my vigil. I told myself it was paranoia, that I'd laugh about it later. But deep down I knew. And now, watching them undress each other with the familiarity of lovers, the fury ignited, a wildfire scorching through my veins. My mind reeled, fragments of memories crashing like waves. Our wedding vows, spoken under a canopy of stars, promising forever. The way Sarah had toasted us at the reception, calling me her soul sister. Heartbreak clawed at me, raw and unrelenting, mixing with humiliation that burned my cheeks. How many times had they laughed behind my back? In our bed. I imagined confronting them, screaming until my voice broke, but I stayed still, breath shallow, the attic's musty air thick in my lungs. Dust motes danced in the faint light filtering from below, mocking my stillness. The wooden beams creaked under my weight, and I held my breath, terrified they'd hear. Mark whispered something to her. His voice low and intimate, the same tone he'd used with me on lazy mornings. "I've missed this," he murmured. Sarah giggled, a sound like shattering glass. "Shoo, what if she comes back early?" My blood turned to ice. They knew the risk, and it thrilled them. Denial flickered briefly. Maybe it was a one-time thing, a mistake born of weakness. But as I watched her trace the scar on his shoulder from that skiing accident years ago, the one I'd nursed him through, resentment boiled over. This wasn't new. The way their bodies moved in sync, anticipating each other, spoke of months, maybe years. Obsession gripped me then, a dark companion whispering fantasies of justice. I pictured smashing a vase over his head, the porcelain exploding in a satisfying crunch. Or poisoning their wine, watching them writhe. No, too quick. I wanted them to suffer as I did, to feel the slow unraveling of their worlds. But guilt nipped at the edges. Was I the monster for thinking this? Mark wasn't all bad. He'd been my rock after my parents died. Sarah had her own demons, a divorce that left her shattered. Yet here they were, twisting the knife. I shifted slightly, my knee brushing an old photo album. It toppled with a soft thud, and I clamped a hand over my mouth. Below they paused. "What was that?" Sarah's voice, sharp with paranoia. Mark chuckled, dismissing it. "Probably the house settling. Old place." His hand slid down her back, resuming their betrayal. Relief washed over me, followed by fresh waves of anger. The attic felt smaller, walls closing in, the air heavy with the scent of insulation and forgotten Christmases. My phone vibrated in my pocket, a text from my sister checking if I'd arrived. I silenced it, fingers trembling. How long could I stay here? Hours. Days. The plan had been to confirm my suspicions, then leave quietly, file for divorce. But now, cold resolve settled in my bones like frost. Divorce was too clean. They deserved more. As the night deepened, their laughter floated up, casual post-coital. They talked about us, me, as if I were a distant memory. Lena's been distant lately, Mark said, his tone laced with false concern. Work stress, I guess. Sarah hummed agreement. She's strong, though. She'll bounce back. The manipulation in their words fueled my rage, a simmering pot ready to boil over. I imagined their faces if I burst through the door now, eyes wide with shock. But no, that would give them the satisfaction of seeing me broken. Instead, I began to plan in whispers to myself, mapping out their routines. Mark's late nights at the office. Cover for this? Sarah's yoga classes where she'd text me selfies, all smiles. Doubt crept in. Was I capable of revenge? I'd always been the peacemaker, the one who forgave. But heartbreak had forged something new, a steel edge to my soul. Morning light pierced the vent, casting striped shadows on my cramped form. My legs ached from the position, pins and needles shooting through them. Below they stirred, sheets rustling like accusations. I should go, Sarah whispered, but her voice held no urgency. Mark pulled her back. 5 more minutes. Their kiss lingered and I tasted bile. Humiliation peaked. Here I was, spying like a pathetic ghost in my own home. Tears streamed down my face, hot and silent, mixing with the dust on my cheeks. I wiped them away, resolve hardening. This wasn't just about them. It was about reclaiming my dignity. I'd make them pay, subtly at first, planting seeds of doubt. A misplaced earring, an anonymous note. Let paranoia eat at them as it had me. Finally, Sarah left, slipping out the back door like a thief. Mark showered, humming tunelessly, the water's rush masking my descent. I waited until his car pulled away, then emerged from the attic, muscles screaming. The house felt violated, every surface tainted. I stood in our bedroom, staring at the rumpled sheets, the indent where her head had been. Anger surged, and I ripped them off, bundling them into the washer as if that could cleanse the betrayal. But it couldn't. Nothing could except action. I sat at the kitchen table, coffee cooling untouched, my mind racing through scenarios. Call her husband. No, she was divorced. Expose them at work. Mark's job was too secure. Something personal, intimate. Like they'd hurt me. Guilt twisted in my gut as I considered the moral line. Revenge made me no better than them, did it? But resentment won out. They'd stolen my trust, my peace. Obsession took root, vivid fantasies playing out. Sarah's car brakes failing on a rainy night, Mark's reputation crumbling under whispers of scandal. Fear mingled in. What if I got caught? Prison. Losing everything. Yet the cold resolve pushed forward. I texted Mark. Arrived safe, love you. His reply. Miss you too, babe. Liar. The word echoed in my head as I began to plot in earnest. That evening I returned early, citing a headache. Mark greeted me with a hug. His cologne masking her scent, but I knew. Everything okay? He asked, eyes searching mine. I forced a smile, suppressing the rage bubbling beneath. Just tired. We ate dinner in silence, the clink of forks like ticking bombs. Sarah called later, her voice bright. Hey girl. How was the trip? Choked back fury. Short. We'll catch up soon. Oh, we would. The tension built inside me, a storm gathering. I lay awake that night, Mark snoring beside me, planning the first strike. Subtle hints began. I accidentally left Sarah's earring on the nightstand, watching Mark's face pale when he saw it. Where'd this come from? He asked, casual but strained. Shrugged. Must be yours from somewhere. His laugh was forced. Doubt planted. Next, an anonymous email to Sarah. I know what you're doing. Her frantic text to me. Some creep emailed me. Weird, right? I consoled her, all the while savoring her unease. the slow burn satisfied, but I craved more. Inner conflict raged. Was this enough? Or did they deserve ruin? As days blurred, my obsession grew. I followed them once, heart pounding, ducking behind cars as they met at a motel. The neon sign buzzed like my nerves. Photos snapped on my phone, evidence hoarded. Guilt surfaced in quiet moments. Mark's gentle touch, Sarah's shared laughs. Were they redeemable? No, the betrayal was too deep. Cold resolve won. I'd escalate, make them turn on each other. The turning point came in the dead of night, rain lashing the windows like accusations. I sat in the study, laptop glowing, fingers hovering over the keyboard. The photos from the motel stared back, grainy but damning. Mark's hand on Sarah's waist, their hurried kiss under the awning. Humiliation resurfaced, a tidal wave crashing over me. How many eyes had seen them like this? Neighbors, co-workers. I imagined the whispers, the pitying glances. No more. Resentment fueled my clicks. Anonymous accounts created, emails drafted. But doubt whispered, what if this destroyed me too? Moral conflict clawed. Revenge was poison, seeping into my soul. Yet the obsession pushed on. I'd make them feel hunted, isolated. First I targeted Sarah. A package arrived at her door unsigned, a printout of one photo with a note. End it, or everyone knows. She called me sobbing that evening. Lena, someone's stalking me. They sent pictures. Her voice cracked, and for a split second, guilt pierced me. She was my friend once, broken by her own past. But then I remembered her moan in my bed, and rage hardened my heart. That's awful, I said, voice steady. Who could it be? Inside, satisfaction bloomed like a dark flower. She babbled about Mark, how he'd been distant lately. Seeds of distrust sprouting. Mark noticed her anxiety too. Over dinner, he fidgeted with his napkin, eyes darting. Sarah seemed off today. You talked to her. I met his gaze, suppressing the storm within. Yeah, some creep harassing her. He swallowed hard, fork scraping the plate with a grating screech. The kitchen light buzzed faintly, casting shadows that danced like ghosts. Tension thickened the air, heavy as humidity before a storm. He reached for my hand, but I pulled away under pretense of refilling water. His touch felt like betrayal's echo. That night, as he slept, I slipped his phone from the charger. Password guessed from old habits. Messages to Sarah. We have to stop. Someone knows. Her reply. Is it her? Paranoia festering. Perfect. The slow burn intensified. I escalated subtly, leaving clues in plain sight. A hotel receipt found in his jacket pocket. Questioned innocently. Business trip. His stammered excuse rang hollow. Sarah's visits dwindled, her excuses thin. I watched from afar as their alliance cracked, arguments overheard on a bugged call. Yes, I'd gone that far, a cheap device hidden in his car. You said it was safe, she hissed. I trusted you. His retort. This is your fault, always pushing. Manipulation revealed. Their bond fracturing under pressure. My inner thoughts swirled. Joy at their suffering, but fear of the abyss I teetered on. Was this justice or madness? Heartbreak lingered, a dull ache, but cold resolve dominated. One rainy afternoon, confrontation brewed. Sarah showed up unannounced, eyes red-rimmed, pounding on the door. Lena, I need to talk. Mark was at work, so I let her in, heart racing. The living room felt claustrophobic, curtains drawn against the downpour. She paced, heels clicking on hardwood like judgments. Someone's ruining my life. Photos, threats. Her voice trembled, and for a moment, I saw her vulnerability, the woman who'd cried on my shoulder after her divorce. Guilt surged, but resentment quashed it. Sit down, I said calmly. She did, hands wringing. Do you think? Mark? Question hung loaded. Faint shock. Mark. Why would you say that? She bit her lip, secrets bubbling. We've been close. Too close. The confession spilled then, tearful and halting. It started last year. I was lonely, he was there. We never meant to hurt you. Lies, all lies. Anger flared, but I kept composure, a mask of hurt. How could you? My voice broke authentically, drawing her in. She hugged me, sobbing apologies. Forgive me, please. But as her arms enveloped me, obsession whispered, now. I pulled away, eyes cold. I already know. Her face drained of color. What? I revealed the photos on my phone, her gasp like thunder. You, how? Panic set in. It was you. I nodded, voice steel. You took everything. Now I'll take yours. She backed away, knocking over a vase that shattered on the floor, shards glinting like broken promises. Lena, please. Don't. But the pursuit was on. I sent the photos to her ex, her boss, her family. Anonymous, of course. Her world crumbled in real time. Texts flooding in, accusations flying. Mark came home to chaos. Sarah gone, but the air thick with aftermath. What happened? He demanded, seeing the broken vase. I confronted him then, voice laced with suppressed rage. I know about you too. His denial crumbled under evidence. It was a mistake, he pleaded, knees buckling as he sank to the couch. The room smelled of rain and regret, thunder rumbling outside. I love you, Lena. Heartbreak twisted anew. Did he? But humiliation won. Love. This is love. I showed him the sent emails, his face ashen. You've ruined us. The climax built that night. Mark packed a bag, muttering apologies, but I stopped him at the door. Wait. Doubt flickered. Could I forgive? Well, obsession peaked. I'd laced his drink earlier, not poison, but a sedative mixed with something to induce paranoia, hallucinations. From the chemistry set in the garage, remnants of old hobbies. He'd wake disoriented, questioning reality. Sarah too, I'd slipped a note in her car. It's not over. Let them spiral. But the twist came unexpectedly. As Mark drove away, phone rang, police. Sarah, distraught, had crashed her car, texting frantically. Is she okay? Asked, voice hollow. Critical condition. Guilt crashed over me like the storm outside. My revenge, meant to wound, had drawn blood. Mark turned back, eyes accusing. What did you do? In that moment, cold resolve shattered. Obsession gave way to horror. I'd become the betrayer, morally gray turned black. Weeks later, Sarah recovered but scarred. Mark left for good, divorce papers served. I sat alone in the empty house, echoes of laughter mocking me. Justice. No, just ashes. The pursuit of revenge had consumed me, leaving only regret. But in quiet nights, a whisper. They'd never forget. And neither would I.